I'm sorry that I had I lost my words. I apologise that I had to cancel the first part. When I say cancel, I mean like I ended the first video. It's because of my recording. It didn't want me to put my stuff in. But let's hide my JPEG for now. And what you can see here is my task 1 layers, and I've got every single one of them. Let's select every single piece. There is so much. Well, good news is that I do have some compositions like turbine pieces and landscape. I think that means that those are the folders that they came in. All that stuff. Because as you can see, there are many things present here that if I bring it in, yeah, that's what you get. And that is not what I want. So, but if I bring something like this in, as you can see, I have my composition of my thing. Now, the only problem I've got is to animate these. I had to animate them differently within the turbine pieces. But hopefully, if I click on that and rotate it, it does keep the it keeps its composition in the same place, which is good news. Exactly what I wanted. But how I'm gonna rotate these blazes, I'm gonna have to double click on the turbine pieces and then manually animate them from within this turbine pieces composition. So that's good news. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my landscape and bring that in. As you can see, my landscape is now present. Good thing about having these compositions is I can scale the actual composition itself. So I can put it to my certain likings. For example, I can put it on top, but it don't look right to me. Oh, had a bit of a little stomach issue there. That's the sun, and that's the sky. Now, what does the sun look like? Aha. As you can see with that, it's not in the corner. I'm going to have to scale that up over to the side. As well with the sky, that's going to be at the bottom of everything. So I have added all my pieces that I want into my composition of clean energy. But I will have to go back into my turbines composition and edit these Photoshop pieces. But as long that the good news is all of my effects for it are still here, which is exactly what I wanted. Oh, tell you what though, 2D animation is not my strong point personally. I mean, I find it hard to get the words when it comes to After Effects. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm good with Adobe After Effects. I'm not professional, but I know how to use it and I know how to edit certain pieces that I want to use. That's how much I know. When it comes to Adobe Flash, however, that's another story. I am not very good. I know the basics of Adobe Flash. I'm not very good at using it professionally. So, when it comes to this 2D animation, if I come back here, my brief with task 2, 2D digital animation. Remember what I said earlier? I am to use typography as well, which means that I will have to add in text. The reason I didn't add text in here is because they wouldn't be animated. So instead I would use the text tool here, horizontal type tool, which means I can type in my text and I can animate those text to my liking within After Effects. So to a certain extent, right, doing things in After Effects is very beneficial to a certain extent. Now, first thing I want to do is scale up my sky, but I want to zoom out a bit first. Oh, and again, just like in Photoshop, save your progress. Save as. I'm gonna find my F&P parts, and I'm gonna name you. I am going to name you my task 2 animation demonstration. I know I put the underscores a lot, but that's because I don't like seeing spaces when it comes to professional work. I put that in quotes, professional. But that's big. It's it's more of like a kind of coding like kind of thing. So you know that when it comes to finding things, it's easy to locate this stuff. But let's save that for now. Okay, I'm gonna scale up my sky. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on my rotation. I'm gonna go back to my selection tool. Click on any side and just hold down the left shift, and I can scale that out. As you can see, the background doesn't really change, but that is because of what it is. It's just nothing but a blue background. I could add certain effects to that, actually. If I could go down to things like generate, and I can generate certain things like gradients, I can create a kind of gradient look. But I also think, if I remember correctly, I did, with my sky, add on an effect. The reason that effect is not present into the actual image, just like why the sun looks a bit different, is because I did not put them into a folder. Now that is the other reason why the turbine pieces and the landscape is put under composition instead of separate Photoshop formats. It is because I put them in folders, and a folder is good. It allows me to have a composition so I can edit things freely, and it retains the quality. That is one mistake that I have made with this video and this task. It's the import issue. But at least I have addressed the issue. I know what the issue is and why the effects are not present. It is because they have to be composited and put in a composition, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So my sky is there. Now we've got to do the same thing with the sun, but we're just going to move it to a corner. We could also scale that if you want to make it bigger, just to compensate. Oh, excuse me. Basically just to compensate, because when you look in the corner you can see an outline of the sun where it ends on the image, and that's not a good thing. So we want to hide that like there, which is good. Okay, we're gonna have to move our landscape down because, as you can see, scale a bit. You can see you can see the sky at the bottom there. We don't want that, so we're just going to click on our landscape composition, and we are going to scale that up like so. Like so. It's also very good to scale this up, because if I was to make this 2D animation to have a camera, I can move around the environment at my discretion, or at my will, whatever you want to say. Now I need to try and think where to put that. But another good thing about having this turbine as composition, if I just do a quick demonstration, if I just Control C that and then press Control V, as you can see, I can make more turbines, and I can put these in other positions. Like I can put this in the background like here, and I can put that beneath the landscape so it hides in the background like so. And that's good that I got that, because it retains its composition. I can put more in, and I can animate them separately. Or I could just delete that, animate this first composition of the rotor, and then I can duplicate it. So therefore, no matter where I put this composition, the turbine blades will always spin on all of them without changing the actual composition itself. So that's handy to have in consideration. Let's just close it down for now, and we're just going to zoom in, get that in a good frame like so. I will actually start off by making these rotor blades rotate first. So I'm just going to double click on this composition. All three of these blades, I'm going to have to parent them to the rotor. So if I move this rotor, as you can see, the blades follow it. That is called parenting. There will be a bit of that in the 3D animation side of things as well, where I will be parenting certain pieces, because I am thinking of having a kind of high-speed train or bullet train coming past in the environment, and it's going to have doors and windows, and they're all going to be separate and things like that. So I'm going to have to parent those to the actual train in order to keep it all together. But parenting these objects, how I parented this was I just had all of these selected, and I just clicked on this arrow. Plus you can see the word name here, parent, and you can parent it to certain things, and as you can see, they are all parented to that. I can also parent this rotor blade to the turbine shaft, which means that if I move the shaft, it moves the whole thing, and that's also handy. But we're going to click on our rotor blade, and that's the main thing that we are going to animate. So to animate this rotor blade, I am going to click here, and then I'm going to go and click here, and I can do its rotation. To begin with, from frame 1, I want to make sure that when it rotates, it's got to be exactly the same position, but it's got to be in a 360 degree, and I've got to think how fast I want it to spin every second. You have to look at turbines in real life, and that shouldn't be too hard for me because I live at a riverside, and across the river are wind turbines. So I can look at those wind turbines, see how fast they spin, depending on the time of day, the weather conditions and things like that. Depends on how fast they rotate or spin. At the moment it's night time, so I won't be able to see anything, but from looking at them in the past, it generally is a spin a second, or at least 2 seconds. It depends. Of 360 degrees, it does spin. I'm gonna put this within let's just say a second. 360 degree spin each second, and I'm gonna have to do that throughout. I'm sure there is a faster way of doing this, but I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. So first thing first, I'm gonna click on this rotation. As you can see, I clicked on that stopwatch, and we got this new thing here, a keyframe, as you can see there. And now I'm going to have to move this to about the next frame up, or to frame 25, which is also 1 second. Because of that, now, excuse me for a minute. Oh, I apologise for the interruption. For those watching on YouTube, that's going to be cut out. But for my tutors at college, I'm going to apologise, but I'm going to have to leave that in because, you know, it's part of the work, I guess. And also just goes to shows some of the reason why that is not easy to do my work when you have all these distractions and things in the way. So now, because I had it rotate, what I could do is, well, because frame 0 is keyframed, what I've got now is I moved my indicator to the 1 second, or frame 25, UK standard frame rate. That means it's a second. So, how to make that rotate in a 360 degrees? Well, I could just hold down the left mouse button here and just drag it across to about 360 degrees. But that takes time. So instead, I'm going to keep that at 0 degrees. And I'm just going to click on that section and press 1. The reason why I did that is because if I now move that indicator, you can see it rotates in a 360 degrees. And I'm going to keep doing that throughout. But I keep changing that up to the next step. So that's 2. Now I've got to move that one to 3. Oh dear. Another distraction for me. Excuse me, people. Again, I apologise. This is what I have to deal with every day when it comes to doing tutorial videos, which is why it's not easy to get work done. Now, there is another way how I can actually work this. Let me just delete all of these keyframes. A better way to do it, instead of doing every frame, I can move that all the way to the end and change that to 30. So now it will continuously spin in 360 degrees for 30 seconds. That is a cheatsy way. Instead of having to do it every frame, you can do it from one end to the other. With that now done, I can just minimize that. Now if I go back to my clean energy, as you can see in this, it's rotating in a 360 degree spin. So let's click on play for now. It will run a little slow because I am recording, so I apologise. But as you can see, it is spinning. And what I like as well is that the gradients are also spinning in a 360. The gradients are also coinciding with the visual effects, which is very nice. But if you notice, whilst it's rotating, the blades get out of frame. How do I sort that out? Well, I just scale that up. But it makes no issue to the actual animation when I scale it up, because the only thing that has been animated in that composition is just the rotation. Therefore, no matter whether I scale it or not, it will always stay in that scale. It will always animate in that scale. And I'm just going to position this about here. Now, just to demonstrate that it should, in theory, still work with different compositions, I'm just going to control and paste it, or copy and paste it, move it to about here, scale you down, and just bring you back. The only issue that I will have though is this top part of the actual composition. But as you can see, it does rotate still, even on the other one, which is handy. That is pretty much what I wanted to demonstrate in that. It also shows why having folders in Photoshop is important when it comes to animating in Adobe After Effects, because it retains the effects, it retains all the pieces, it allows you to animate those pieces in that composition, which does not affect the whole composition. So you don't have to redo all the effects, you don't have to manually do all of the pieces, add all of them and do it all manually, or piece everything together and like have a massive stockpile of pieces, because your composition in After Effects is pretty much the equivalent, in my views and opinion, it is exactly the equivalent of having folders in After Effects, or Photoshop I mean, because instead of having a completely cluttered up layers section, if you only have compositions instead, you can open those compositions, tweak it and stuff like that. Even if I did have all this in here and go into my turbine pieces as I just did, I can actually select all of this and scale it down, move it around, and it will be present here. It will make the changes in here, which I may actually do in the next videos when I do more work on this tomorrow, because I'm going to leave out After Effects as it is for now. So before I leave though, I'm just going to have to save this and basically do a recap on what I've been through. So what did I go through in today's videos? Because I did actually have it in 2 videos. Well, for one, I imported my Photoshop, or this composition from Adobe Photoshop. I imported it into Adobe After Effects, and what we're doing in Adobe After Effects is we are animating the pieces that are present in that composition. Also address that having folders with all your layers in it is a good thing when it comes to animations, because they come in as compositions. They retain the quality that you had in After Effects instead of removing things that you had, because it's all put into a composition. It is a single entity, but those compositions can be edited within it, which is also handy. So I'm going to save that one more time. Oh, I don't need to save it again. That's good, because I haven't made any changes. So I'm pretty much out of words for this. This is going to be quite an interesting videos series for task 2. It's all about animating in 2D. There will be no 3D involved. As you've seen in my task 1 video, it was all digital graphics designs that was all created in Adobe Photoshop with no 3D interference or any kind. And the same with this. Everything that has been done is all what was in Photoshop, so it's all 2D, and I'm animating in 2D. Oh my god, I've got burps coming. So, yeah. I'm Lucas No, and this is my first part, which is technically part 2 of this task 2 demonstration videos. Thank you for watching.